G'day, welcome to my channel, Alchemy Art. I hope everyone's doing well. In this week's video, I'm making some silicone molds out of 3D printed water ripple trays my son made me, and then turning them into lovely little bits of artwork with some 3D printed turtles. One of the things that I wanted to do, which I'm about to do now, is make some molds from some 3D printed objects my son made me. He made me these awesome ripple trays on his 3D printer. I've got a larger one and the smaller one which I've already molded. The problem with the 3D printer is that it gives a sort of rough textured surface, and so if I tried to put liquid latex in there and then let that go smooth, I could pour resin in, but then I'd have trouble getting it out. If I pour resin straight in here, I can't get it out. I decided I'd use a two-part mold system. This one I'm using is the Silicone brand, which is a 1:1 ratio mix by weight, and it gives you a milky white mold which is quite flexible. Of course, the resulting mold will have that same rough texture on it. I then would build a barrier around the outside with some acetate, pour my resin in there, and when that's cured, remove it, and I can make the surface shiny then with some more resin on top. I'll mix up 150 grams of each. I've given it a clean with some isopropyl alcohol. After I mix the silicone as recommended, I pour it slowly in from high up to help reduce the amount of bubbles. This section is sped up, that's why it looks faster. Pretty sure this is ready to come out. Here we go. So that's coming out well, actually. Beautiful. And I've cut some acetate strips. Should be able to make like a mold casing. Might actually do the smaller one first as my practice one. Go and get this all cleaned up and we'll get on to trying to make a mold casing for the resin. I've cut my strips to equal the lengths around here. I'm going to hot glue them right up close to the silicone. Pretty boring, it's just me gluing stuff in place. I've got it sitting on a piece of acetate. I thought that might be easier to remove, or if I don't do it correctly, to catch any resin that leaks out. I'm just going to glue it all the way around. I've got these done with a surround on them. They're not perfect. I'm not perfect. I can see there's a couple of little spaces from underneath. I've tried to put the silicone part right down to contact the plastic so that resin won't leak under, but I still suspect it might. I'm going to clean with some isopropyl alcohol because there was lots of little strings from the glue. I'm going to mix up a bit of Let's Resin Fast Cure, which is a 1:1 ratio mixed resin. Add a little tiny bit of Octopus Fluids Resin Ink in Smurf. I don't want it deep so that it can go down in those grooves. I'll leave it for a couple of hours, come back out and check whether it's leaked or the silicone's lifted up or whatever. I've just come out to check on these and they're looking okay. I can't see any leaks anywhere. I'm wondering if the resin has gone a bit underneath at that top section there, because I did cover those rings and now they're exposed, and the same on this side over here. I might just put in a couple of 3D printed turtles that my son has done. We'll see if they show up when it's complete. It's the next day and I could pick these up and have a look, so I know that they had definitely did leak like I thought they did under there, and also on that edge there. Because this is fully cured, I can pour a bit more resin in, a very thin clear layer only. Let that cure, put some shadows where the turtles are, so because this will be my background. This is cured and I've had no further leaking, and it's all underneath the resin now. As it leaked, and it is, well, it will be uneven on this side when I turn it over, so I'm trying to save it by putting in a little bit of stuff here and there. Now I'm just going to put a little bit of shadow, some paint markers, plus add a few little teeny tiny turtles. Thought they might look cute. Maybe one coming back. Look at there. I'll turn off one set of lights so I can see where the shadow is. You can see that where the shadow is going off to the left side because my light's coming from this side. Even need to be a bit darker. Doesn't even need to be perfect because it's meant to be through the water, and then you should be able to see that when we turn it over. I've got on all the shadow areas. I'll mix up my 1:1 resin again. Just do a bit more of the Smurf, also a tiny bit of peacock and a bit of clear, and just do it a bit mottledy looking. This is how they're looking this morning, and they've cured. I haven't left enough room here. I was thinking about putting a bit of greenery through. Do this small one first, and when that's cured I can take it out and have a look at it before I try the big one. I did decide to use some artificial moss. I've mixed up resin and decanted it into 3 separate cups. One I'll keep clear, the other 2 I'll use to make the sandy colour in the background. With the clear, I put it down a little bit, break up some bits of the moss, then put that into the clear, followed by some more clear on top. Once I've got all the moss in place, I mix up a white sparkle colour and also a sand colour. I've got all the acetate off the bottom and the sides. I'm going to have to clean up the sides anyway. There's still a bit of glue and stuff stuck on there. Looks like a mint slice, doesn't it? Like I said at the start, this 3D printed piece that I did the silicone mold insert from is textured. So when I take it out of here, it's going to be textured on top of the surface, so it's going to look matte. The main thing is I want to see how that white and the bone looked with the greenery, because the greenery's all come up. Oh, there might be a bit of plastic still left there. I'll have to get that in a minute. Actually not as bad as I thought it might be. Wow. I'll just give it a spray. Look at that, guys. And my turtles have got their little shadows. I'm actually impressed. I went on to do the larger tray in exactly the same way. So although I recorded it, I won't include it in this video. It's just a bit darker because I used a bit more of the artificial moss in it. At a later date, I'll build a acetate surround to both of these and re-pour some silicone, and then I'll have two shiny molds to use over and over again. I hope this has been helpful to somebody. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a great day. Bye for now.